And good morning. Focus on Stafford County here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Steve Webster with you here, and joining me, the director of the Stafford County Economic Development, Kathleen Norman, in with us today.
Good morning, Steve.
So you got the frustrating deal about what Great Bend people know about. So you came in here today and
got stopped by the train on the way into town.
Yeah, how about that? But you made it on time, so
I did.
That's great. Okay, let's jump right into it today, and we want to talk about South Central Kansas
Community Foundation.
Okay, very good. Okay, tell me all about it.
Yeah, so Stafford County is one of 7 counties served by the South Central Community Foundation, and they do an annual grant cycle, and so that opened June 1st, and applications will be due August 31st. They have 3 different types available. So they have their community grant, which can be up to $2,000. They have a children's health grant that is $5,000. And then they offer teacher grants that are $250. So all of this information can be found on their website. And so teachers can apply for the teacher grants. The other 2 grants, you have to have a 501c3 making the application.
Okay, so the teachers, is this for classroom supplies?
It'd be for classroom programming, different things. I know we have one teacher who's been doing some different technology stuff, so she was able to get some things last year for the students to use.
So is that part of your process, is seeking out these grant opportunities?
Yes and no.
They're hard to find sometimes.
They are. With the community foundations, it's nicer because they generally have an annual, here's what we do. So Stafford County is kind of unique because we work with both South Central and we can work with Golden Belt Community Foundation.
Sure.
So our county has more opportunities, at least for the 501c3s usually. But some of it is also... it's hard to get information out there. So there might be other people interested. So part of it today was kind of, some of these grants could be good for different groups or organizations, especially the teacher grants, that I don't know if all the teachers know that this is an opportunity for Stafford County teachers or teachers in the counties that South Central Community Foundation serves. But I know like cities can usually apply for things. So if there was like a downtown beautification project, they could look at like the $2,000 grant just to help move different projects forward.
Okay, AmeriCorps positions available right now.
Yes. So we are actively recruiting for both our public health VISTA and our workforce development VISTA. So Fallon, who you've met earlier this year, she'll be wrapping up her service year on August 29th. So just a month away, which, she's been great and done a lot to help with our childcare and housing stuff. And so now we're just kind of in the process of looking for more assistance. So the workforce VISTA, it's focused on workforce, and we see right now the need is more to support the additional things like childcare and housing that you need to support a workforce. And I think there'll be more stuff that can be done as things progress, say with like the industrial port project or other things that, end up happening. You don't always know up front what opportunities are going to exist.
So who would this be good for, Kathleen? To enhance someone's career or get experience?
Yeah, so it'd be both. So some of the benefits of being a VISTA is if you successfully complete your year, then you get non-compete eligibility status for federal positions. So that's why some people do it. What that means is if you apply and someone else applies and you're equally qualified, they would go with you.
Because you got a year experience.
Because you did the VISTA experience. So like if you're already a federal employee and you apply for a job, you're more likely to get it because you have kind of that non-compete status. This can be good for college students. It can be good for recent college graduates. In Wichita, they have a lot of seniors that serve. So people who are in retirement and still want to be active and engaged. You kind of hit a mix. When I was working in Colorado in 2020, one of my vistas that I oversaw in that program was a woman in her 40s looking to kind of do a career change. She wanted the non-compete status, and so
Looks
opted
pretty
to
good
do
on your
that.
resume too. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So, so it can be for a lot of people. So it's a minimum of 35 hours of service a week. It's stipend. They just raised the stipend to, I think, about 17,000 a year, up from 15. And there is an education award or cash payout at the end. So $6,000 in an education award, either for student loans or for future schooling, or it's, I think, $1,800 is just like end of year kind of stipend. They help with relocation allowance stuff and cover other things. And then we like to provide professional development opportunities for our vistas and different things throughout the year.
Okay, what about housing?
So what we do is we provide an affordable housing option. So we either have our apartment or a house available that they can rent for $250 a month, including that's rent and utilities. They would share it if we had other vistas.
Sure.
But it's very economical housing.
If someone knows someone out there or someone who might be interested, just contact your office.
Yep, contact our office. There's information on the website. People do have to apply through AmeriCorps.gov specifically for the position. But happy to talk to people and help them through the process.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have more on Focus on Stafford County today right after this.
SJ & Bank of Kansas knows the value of rural Kansas and is committed to all of the communities they serve, personal to business banking and more. They offer mobile banking options too. Download their app at SJ & Bank of Kansas and find them online at sjnbank.com. Serving you since 1905 and with 6 locations. SJ & Bank of Kansas in St. John, Maxville, Hudson, Burnett, Greensburg, and La Crosse. Member FDIC.
The friendly staff at Stafford County Drug appreciates your patronage. The lobby is open and they offer a convenient drive-up window. They'll even deliver your prescriptions in Stafford, St. John, and Maxville for free. Stafford County Drug knows the value of a hard-earned dollar and wants to work with you and your doctor to make prescriptions easy. For any questions on switching your prescriptions to your local pharmacy, call pharmacist Chris Davis at 620-377-5633. Stafford County Drug, open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Inside White's Food Liner, Highway 281, St. John.
The 2022 Cruise the Square Car Show returns Saturday, August 27th in downtown St. John. Registration now open. Call 620-549-3208 or email sjcity@gbta.net to get registered. There will be a beer garden, burnout competition, a raffle, and the car show awards. All proceeds benefit the St. John Jubilee Fund. Like, share, and follow the Around the Square St. John, Kansas Facebook page for more details and events.
Welcome back. Focus on Stafford County. Kathleen Norman in with us today, the director of Stafford County Economic Development. Okay, what's the latest on housing down there?
Right. So
A lot of irons in the fire.
there are. So it started at the end of, I guess, June. I don't know. Time just is flying this summer,
Yes,
Steve.
yes, it does.
End of June, I started presenting the 4 largest cities in Stafford County with a new housing development program to choose to either buy in or not. I had asked them to, let me know by the end of July. At this point, Stafford has agreed. They're on board with this. I know Hudson's meeting Sunday, and then Maxville meets Monday, August 1st, and St. John is meeting August 2nd. So I definitively have to have answers to be able to move forward. And so that is looking at doing 10 more houses, unrestricted. We have some county funding that's been pledged. We're getting the city contributions, and then we'll be able to go for a moderate income housing grant. And so that grant has opened and will be due September 30th, but there's a lot of things to get into place. So
You need one city, or you need them all, or
I don't have to have all of them. I needed at least one of our large cities, I said, to be able to move forward. So with having Stafford on board, we're planning to go. I think St. John's interested. I'm hoping that, Maxville and Hudson, are interested and willing. I mean, it becomes hard because all of the cities are going to try to have to figure out how they're going to budget and accommodate the cash contribution we've asked for. But I mean, I think it's a good deal. I think, last segment, when I was here a month ago, we talked a lot about the current state of housing. And, if we don't have more development happening now, 20 years from now is going to look more dire than it does today.
Moderate income, what do you mean? What are some of the numbers we're working with there?
So moderate income, which I can give you kind of the clinical definition, which isn't going to be super helpful, but it's 60 to 150% of what's called AMI. I don't have the figures in front of me, but in Stafford County, they're saying right now $72,000 is the average, the AMI for a family of 4. So the moderate income would be looking at 60% of the 72,000 up to 150% of that would qualify someone to either rent or buy.
So that's pretty good.
I mean, it's a good.
Yep.
Most people will qualify. When you start looking at what are the jobs, what are the wages, most people will qualify into that. And so the goal will be, our goal with this is to try to sell as many houses as possible or help people build houses. And if we can do more selling, then that allows for even further development. I'd love to see this go beyond 10 houses. But that's going to be dependent on finding buyers or people interested in building.
Okay, very good. Latest on the Port Authority.
Yes. So, things are moving. Everything takes time. So they've started executing the purchase options on the land. So the land will be transferring ownership to the Port Authority of Stafford County. And then our office has just submitted a grant. We submitted a Community Economic Development grant through the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. It's a job creation grant. It's what we used for the grocery store. And so this is looking for essentially almost another $800,000 that would be used to move this project forward. So that was submitted July 11th.
Now the waiting game begins.
Now So I know previously, it'd be more of like an October announcement. Lots of things have been moving slower than previously since COVID, just having distributed teams. Not everyone in a lot of government roles are back in the office. So still hoping that we'll know by sometime in October, but it could be delayed. I know some of the state announcements have been very delayed.
And you got a big grant here recently, and those who talked about it on the last show for sure. That was
so the $2.5 million that
was a big one,
the base grant, and then an additional $2.5 in appropriations. So, things are really moving forward. Again, that's the land's being purchased. There's still funding to be secured. That's not out of the woods, but we have traction and momentum. It's just things still take time.
Well, I'm just remembering this was a concept about 11 years ago. It's
remarkable the strides we're making. And some of it is just, it's the right time. There's been such an opportunity or influx of funding. But we're seeing it both with the money we were able to secure for the port, but also knowing the state of Kansas has used federal funds to, infuse their moderate income housing program. So that program is receiving $20 million that they'll be allocating over several grant cycles in the next year or so. And so, both with all the projects we're working on, it's really been an opportune time because you're not going to see this level of funding again.
So just a quick review of what this Port Authority is and what we're looking at here.
Yep. So the Port Authority of Stafford County is its own entity. Economic development has been supporting the development of it, but it will be its own entity, and it will be what controls access to a public port. So they will own a 1-mile loop rail infrastructure off of BNSF mainline. And then they will lease land to tenants that then can have access to the rail. And so we have currently a letter of intent with Wind River Grain. That's been a kind of our anchor for the past couple of years as we've talked through this. So they'll be able to do their grain business, accessing, the BNSF main line.
The main line, that's the important thing here too. That's, yeah.
And so at this point, now it's looking at what other tenants might we be able to line up. Are there people in aggregate rock? Are there people in fertilizer? Are there people in other things down the road? What type of kind of intermodal can be done in terms of like warehousing and shipping containers and stuff. So there's potential, but the biggest thing is establishing this mile loop track. And so I think at this stage, we're now looking at like a $10 million project, which we have 7.5 well secured. It's just trying to now get that $2.5 million gap figured out. But if we get another tenant, that increases what revenue the TIF district would bring in, which could increase the amount of debt you could take on. And so there's a number of ways to do it. It wouldn't have to all be grant funding. It'd be nice if it was grant funding.
Okay. All right. We'll take another break. More Focus on Stafford County with Kathleen Norman right after this.
SJ&N Bank of Kansas knows the value of rural Kansas and is committed to all of the communities they serve. Personal to business banking and more. They offer mobile banking options too. Download their app at SJ&N Bank of Kansas and find them online at sjnbank.com. Serving you since 1905 and with 6 locations. SJ&N Bank of Kansas in St. John, Maxville, Hudson, Burdett, Greensburg, and La Crosse. Member FDIC.
Hey folks, this is Trey Bergen with Ag 360 Insurance in St. John. We are an independent agency offering several types of insurance, including crop, farm, irrigation, business, personal, and life. We would appreciate an opportunity to earn your business. Feel free to stop by our office at 103 East 4th Avenue in St. John, or give us a call at 620-549-3579. You can also check us out online at ag360insurance.com.
Calling all businesses, large or small, see the experts at Astra Business Solutions for your account receivable billing, financing, and management needs. They'll do your customer billing, freeing your valuable time and energy to manage and grow your business. Astra Business Solutions provides immediate financing of your receivables, providing the cash to pay bills or expand your business. See the experts in billing, collecting, and management of receivables. Contact Mel Waite and his staff for a no-obligation consultation. Astra Business Solutions, 105 North Main in Ellenwood, and online at www.astrabusinesssolutions.com.
Focus on Stafford County here on KVGB today. Kathleen Norman talking about a lot of different things. There's so many things going on in Stafford County right now with economic development, and it's here everywhere. Childcare, and I know you've got a lot of things going on with that too. What's the latest?
Right. So we're still making progress on bringing the modular building into St. John, and so the funding's basically all been secured in terms of the city pledged $65,000 and the county $55,000. It's been harder than we thought to try to secure land to put it on, but I think this week showed some promise in having a good location for that with a willing party
Okay.
to sell it. But I mean, when you contact 10 different owners of vacant lots and get a lot of no's, it's a challenge. It's one of those challenges that you don't expect, but it's not, I don't know, surprising sometimes. I mean, I think you see that in a lot of places. Either people own buildings or own land and whatever, and you might have ideas for it, but at the end of the day, private property is a very it's what built our country in a lot of ways. And so if people aren't willing to sell or whatnot, then you have to look at your other options. So,
what would this look like when it's all done? I mean, what are we looking at?
So we're going to have the modular building is 24 by 64. So there'll be kind of a deck and stairs up to the doors. And you'll have a playground in the back that's fenced off. Each side of the modular will have a little kitchenette. There will be a bathroom, and each side can have up to like 9 kids. So 18 total kids could be served by 2 independent providers running daycares out of it.
So it's independent providers that would be using this facility. Do they pay a fee for the use of the?
So they'll be renting the space.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it's at a lower rate than probably they could find either a house or other commercial space. So Edwards County kind of found that 300 would be kind of the cap, and 250 is what they do. They do 250 includes rent for the space and utilities. Wow. So we're looking at kind of figuring out what our model will be, knowing what's affordable for providers to be able to operate a business, but also how do you maintain and cover utilities and property tax and all of that.
Okay, so that's kind of another thing moving forward. You're going to have a lot of things coming together here really quick.
There's a lot of balls in the air.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different things. Any other thing that you'd like to hit on here today? What's going on?
I don't know. I mean, there's
what's happening,
lot.
Kathleen? Come on.
I mean, that's the thing. There are a lot of moving parts. I mean, I feel like housing, childcare, and industrial development, i.e. the port, are the big things that when people are like, oh, what are you working on? That's what I lay out. I know,
Another thing I was curious about, the employment opportunities, the number of new jobs that could be created by this, and that's one of the reasons you do it. But I mean, going back to the Port Authority, just that one anchor tenant, you're looking at maybe around 30
jobs, between having direct employment for the grain operation side of it and then needing to have the trucking jobs to transport. So, and as you add more tenants, you'll increase the number of jobs needed.
And, people are kind of sitting back waiting on this, but many of them are kind of interested how far along you are with this process.
Right.
So, I mean, 11 years ago, it didn't have anything.
Right, yeah. A lot more interest as it becomes more tangible.
Okay. And I don't know what time the trains go across here, so it's...
hit or miss.
That's a hit and miss thing for sure. Kathleen, thanks for coming in today. Always great to see you, and we'll see you back here on Focus on Stafford County next month.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Okay, Kathleen Norman, our guest here on Focus on Stafford County here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Coming up, news at the top of the hour today. Don't forget Agriculture Today rolls at 12:30 on the Talk of the Town, 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Broadcasting as always from the Mayo Money Management Studio.